Hey everybody. It's not looking too good, right now. I don't know about you all, but there's a lot going on in my personal life right now that is kind of got like comorbidity with everything that's happening, uh, political wise, of course, I'm talking about Bernie Sanders not doing too hot in the primary. And it looks really bad right now, and believe me, I've been spending way too much time on the internet. I'm actually like making sure that I don't spend as much time on the internet because it is really bad for my mental health. It makes me a doomer. It makes me honestly, what's the word, misanthropist. It makes me a misanthropist. It makes me hate humans. It makes me disgusted. Um, and there's a lot of reasons. It's like I was literally so excited that Bernie was going to be president because my girlfriend could get health care and she really needs it. My mom could get health care and she really needs it. Her boyfriend, who's basically my stepdad, could get health care and he really needs it. And that's, of course, that's scraping the surface. The most talked about things with Bernie it seems to be healthcare, but it's like he's not a one trick pony. There's a lot of reasons. Like I'm Palestinian. I have a lot of cousins overseas in the Middle East. It would be really nice if the forever wars ended and I didn't have to think about the place my genes are from being boiled in an inferno of drone strikes and shit like that. There's a million things. Someone who actually has a like halfway decent climate plan. It's like, hey, I'm 23. I'm gonna have to live with the consequences of whatever happens climate wise, you know. And with our window closing, we have about 10 years. It's like wanted to get a head start on a presidency because even if Bernie served 2 terms, if even if he was elected, we know it was going to be a hard fight. We knew it was going to be real hard. Like we would have to focus on down ballot progressives in Congress. It would be a fucking fight. Of course, it would be a fight, and the fight never ends. It's a never ending fight. Um, you know, uh, as Vosh said very eloquently, and I don't know if he borrowed this from someone else, but it's if you are, and I'm paraphrasing, but if you're dedicated to making the world a better place, you signed up to suffer. If you genuinely care about trying to make this incredibly fucked up world, because like the things I'm talking about literally are scraping the surface. I can make a 2 hour video just talking about why the world is fucked up. you know um, if you are dedicated to changing the world in a lasting meaningful way, you are signing up to suffer, period, point blank period. And to like add an addendum, it's like, yeah, you're signing up to be laughed at, to be held to double standards. You're gonna be vilified, you're gonna be ignored, you're gonna be you're gonna get killed. If you do a good enough job, you're gonna die. You look at someone like MLK, he was gonna die. Oh my god. And you know what? He died because he was doing it right. He died because he was actually changing shit. He was actually changing the world. But anyways, so it all looks real bad right now, right? And you go online, and I understand if there's some of you, if you're like me, I have this rage boiling inside my heart. This anti-human, like I'm just thoroughly disgusted, like I'm entertaining things like accelerationism or jokingly Posadism, but all real, worldviews start off as jokes. And it's looking really bad. I used to want this a lot as a teenager. I used to hate people. And like I'm very different now. In the past 8-ish years, I've grown to be a very like loving person. I like unconditionally love everyone, even racists and rapists and Nazis and all these fucking woke scolds and neoliberals that are kneecapping Bernie Sanders way harder than the Nazis are. It's fucking infuriating. And yeah, like I get it. It's real hard to look at what's happening with this primary, what's happening with, it's like, it's one thing if it's just Biden or Elizabeth Warren or some CNN fuckhole that's being a piece of shit, but it's not. It's all their shills. It's all these people who are fighting against their own material interests, who are fighting against the material interests of not only Americans. Like, you know, we're being so focused on this American election. It's like, y'all don't understand. Like, people across the world are rooting for Bernie Sanders. People across the world, like, I don't know if you spend a lot of time online, but you go on any place and you got people being like, hey, I'm not from America, I'm from blank, but please get Bernie Sanders elected, y'all. Haha, would vote if I could. I'm phone banking even though for Bernie Sanders, even though I don't live in America, because yeah, someone like Bernie is like the ticket to making the world a better place. And anyways, not what I'm here to talk about. I'm not here to suck Bernie's dick. That's for my private, you know, time. That's for my you know, the afternoonsies. But so I understand if right now you are very pissed and angry and honestly depressed. I mean, I'm kind of hit a spiral with this. I have, like I said, comorbidity. I have a lot of other shit that's happening in my life right now. Some things that have also happened in the last like week or two, you know, but it's just this alone. It's like, I understand if you're real fucked up about all this. And listen, I've been seeing a lot of talks about, well, if maybe Bernie had done this, maybe if he was more aggressive, maybe if this or that had happened. And you know what? People are like, no, there's nothing that would have changed. People are really giving up, and they're so angry. They're like, holy fuck, everybody is so stupid. The world is so evil. And it's like, listen, I'm not here to tell you that everybody's fucking great. You know why? Because a majority, not even a majority, I'll get to that. Listen, there's a lot of people in this world that are selfish, that are stupid, that are blisteringly stupid, that are self-absorbed, they're ignorant, they crime stop, they're spiteful, they're evil. There's people in this world that are evil, man, and I mean like sadistic, like they get a kick out of shitting on other people, and you know, that's a whole other psychological thing that, you know, we can empathize with at a different time. But it's like the stupidity, man, the double standards, the like, I mean, if you see how Elizabeth Warren supporters or Andrew Yang supporters or Biden supporters on the internet talk, holy fuck, it's infuriating. It's so infuriating. But you know what? I'm here to tell you something. Shut the fuck up, because there's a lot more of us than you think. Stop all this talk about, oh my God, we're all going to die because America is so stupid. Listen, the odds are against us. We are fighting a power structure that has been here way longer than you or me or anybody on this planet. We are the underdogs, and we've been the underdogs. We've been the underdogs for literally hundreds of years. And by us, I mean the left wing, progressives, whatever the fuck you want to call it. People who are trying to pursue an egalitarian society, who are trying to evolve the human race. We've been underdogs this whole fucking time. Ain't nothing changed. Ain't gotten any easier. But let me tell you something. The majority of Americans support Bernie Sanders more than any other candidate. Now, notice my wording. Am I saying 51% of all Americans support Bernie Sanders? No. I'm saying more people support Bernie Sanders than anybody else, especially some other Democratic fuck. You know, now with Trump, it's kind of iffy. It gets a little bit more narrow of a margin, you know, but I mean, like, as all the polls have shown, like, Bernie beats Trump better than anybody else. Most of those other people weren't even projected to beat Trump. I mean, you know, Trump's whole support base is a cult of its own, like, even more impervious than all these other supporters, all these other candidate supporters. And it's like, listen. If you've been paying half attention, I don't gotta sell you on the rest of this, okay? Do you know how fucking hard the establishment has been fighting tooth and motherfucking nail to make sure that Bernie doesn't become the nominee, that Bernie's path to the presidency? They've been rolling out the logs, they've been making the pit traps and the spike falls, they've been making the little pressure plates that shoot poison darts at you. Oh, I mean, like, they've been doing everything they possibly can. Listen. Voter suppression. Just on voter suppression in California and Texas alone are enough to invalidate Biden's lead. I mean, there's a momentum question, the on the fence people who just kind of make their decision last second on whoever's already winning or something, but it's like, okay, when California and Texas started, he had like about 100-point lead. There was enough voter suppression alone in California and Texas to invalidate Biden's lead. Okay, this has been going on since before the primary started and since the primary started. Do we need to go into like everything? Do you want to talk about all the fuck shit that happened in Iowa with Buttigieg and all his ties and with the CEO of the company that was counting the fucking votes? Do we need to talk about how some ties and popular votes in counties in Iowa were like Bernie 6,000, Buttigieg 4,000? So that's a tie, and then they break the tie by flipping a coin, and then there's videos online of them flipping the coins. You look at it and you shuffle your fucking hand around, you say, oh, Buttigieg, you drop the coin before anyone can see it. We're talking about 100 million little things and like 1,000 big ass things. I mean, like, obviously some things can't really be classified as voter suppression or like even necessarily unethical, like them consolidating all the moderates with like Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar all dropping out and sponsoring Biden, and like every other person and their grandma dropping out and sponsoring Biden. That's expected. Like, and honestly, I feel stupid for not seeing that way before. It just like, it makes sense. They were all going to coalesce around the one anti-Bernie candidate. That's not fuck shit. That's just playing the game with like normal dirty rules. You're not breaking any like code of ethics by doing that. That's to be expected. But okay, the voter suppression, all these polling places that shut down. We're talking about huge ass campuses like UCLA having one fucking place. You're talking about lines that are 6 hours long. Ain't nobody got time to be standing 6 hours in fucking line, man. Especially the type of people who support Bernie Sanders. Who are those people? People who are living paycheck to paycheck. People, I mean, it's like, I'm passionate. I would lose my job to vote for Bernie Sanders, but I don't expect that of everybody. People got kids. People got jobs they're hanging on to by a fucking thread. People got school. Fucking people, so a lot of people got school and a job. Nobody got time to drive a fucking hour after they closed the nearest polling place to your place for budget reasons. Oh, sure. They're just going to close all the polls for budget reasons in all the neighborhoods that demographically go to Sanders. Yeah, that's convenient. Yeah, okay. And nobody's going to, people like us, we count the seconds in our day. And even if you're fucking around, even if you're on Facebook or watching Netflix, those are still seconds you're spending, precious seconds you're spending, like relieving yourself of the like spiritual trauma of living the day-to-day life here in this neoliberal hellscape. Like, but even besides that, I know people that work more than 40 hours a week. Plenty of people I know work more than 40 hours a week. They're counting their seconds, and when they're not at work, they are crashing, they are sleeping, they are getting shit-faced drunk, they're doing this. Nobody has time to drive a couple hours to go poll, especially if you're just like not that politically involved. And yeah, you like Bernie Sanders, but it's just like, I don't have 30. I mean, like the number. I mean, I know people who don't have cars. Nobody has the money to get an Uber to drive an hour for a polling place. And yeah, you can say people carpool. There's a million excuses that you can give for these people that should have voted. But the point of the fucking matter is that them voting was made harder by the establishment. College kids, black people, Latino people, all these fucking people, the establishment made sure as hard as they couldn't vote. Okay, so you got voter suppression. Then we got voter apathy with young people. You can say, well, that has nothing to do with the establishment. Bullshit! You know why young people don't vote? Because the establishment has made them feel like nothing matters, that their vote doesn't matter. They're illustrating it real well right now. They're making sure that there's a whole fresh wave of people who are more apathetic than ever before. I'm telling you, voter turnouts, if nothing changes, voter turnouts, they're going to only get worse and worse and worse. So, yeah, are young people lazy? Sure, we're all fuckbags. Yeah, you know, we smoke weed and play Fortnite and watch e-girls or whatever. But they do that for a reason. They feel apathetic for a reason. And sure, some of it could be the young buck, like, fucking around, don't give a shit, like, yada yada. But a lot of it is people just, they feel fucking dejected. Dejected does stuff to people, man. Like, depression does stuff to people. It will keep you home. It will make it hard to leave the house. So yes, the establishment indirectly is also responsible for all of the voter apathy, the incredibly low turnout of young people this election. Okay, do we want to keep going? Oh yeah, sure, let's keep fucking going. Oh, the fucking rigging! Hello? The fucking discrepancies! Have you seen the exit poll versus the final result discrepancies? They are so far outside the margin of error in some places. Like, I'm talking in some places, they were like triple the margin of error. Anywhere else, I mean, like, people make jokes about this, but anywhere else in the world, if there was this big of voting discrepancies between exit polls and the actual result, America would fucking invade them because they would call it election fraud. Okay? They're literally rigging the machines. This isn't new. This has happened before. Do you remember George W. Bush? He got fucking elected because Jeb Bush was shot in Florida and he rigged the machines for George Bush and people didn't give a fuck. This shit happened in 2016 with Bernie. Oh my God, forget even direct rigging. Can we talk about the rule changes? First of all, you have the debate rule changes. The DNC last second changes the rules of the debate to let Mike Bloomberg, their ally, on. But then they also will change it last second to make sure that people that are their enemy, like Mike Gravel, or their maybe enemy, like Tulsi Gabbard, also, they don't get to go on. They make all these last second changes that only benefit them. And that affects voters too. Who knows how many people Tulsi Gabbard would have convinced if she had gone full pit bull on fucking Joe Biden. But they know that, so they changed it last second to cock-block her from getting on the stage. Other last-second changes. I mean, I don't know much about this election, but I know in 2016 there was a lot of last-second changes to stop independents from voting. We learned that lesson. A lot of people, including myself, have registered Democrat, even though we don't fucking want to. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But a lot of fucking independents got fucked out of their vote in the Democratic primaries in 2016 because of last-minute fucking changes. Oh, and this hasn't happened yet. I think this happened in New York, but in 2016, let's not forget the literal throwing away of paper ballots that were for Bernie that happened in New York. Like, holy shit, it's just like, it's too much. If there was just one thing, I would understand if you were skeptical, but it is not one thing. It is dozens and dozens, and the more you look, the uglier and uglier it gets. Okay, so just by these things alone, I think Bernie would win, period. Just on the straight up fuck shit, Bernie would have won. And you know what? I don't want to say would have because there's still a chance, and I'm trying to like not completely give up. But let's be realistic. It's not looking too hot. It's gonna take some damn miracles, and miracles happen. Life is unpredictable. Life is unpredictable. Life is unpredictable. But yeah, someone cough on Joe Biden. But anyways, that alone is enough, in my opinion. If simply the people who supported Bernie Sanders were all counted, if elections were completely transparent as physically possible in this mortal coil, in this physical plane of existence, if they were as transparent as possible, and if you like Bernie and you voted for Bernie, your vote got counted as a Bernie vote, he would win. Just that alone, I think, as of right now, there are more Bernie supporters walking on this earth than Biden supporters, or whoever the fuck supporters, okay? That's just on the fuck shit alone. Now, we get to double that. Why? Because if it was fucking fair, we would also not have shit like the Bernie blackout. People, to quote Peter Coffin, attention is currency in the marketplace of ideas. Let me say that for y'all again in the back. Attention is currency in the marketplace of ideas. Fox News covered Bernie more than CNN fucking did. Was all their coverage negative? Yeah, basically 90% of it. But it doesn't fucking matter because you know what? If you have a kid and you abuse them, if you're shitty to them, if you harass them, if you belittle them and bully them, you know, maybe not if you beat the shit out of them, but if you're just kind of like give them negative attention, like every time you walk past them, you grandma pinch their arm and you say, huh, faggot, and you know, you make them sleep outside when they get a B on the report card or something. I don't fucking know. That is better than if you didn't pay attention to them at all, you know? That's like psychological studies have been done on this. It is better to give something negative attention than it is to completely ignore it. And you can see it with this primary. That's why CNN and all them ignore the fuck out of Bernie, because they know it's 1,000 times more effective than if they tried to smear him, which they did 1,000,000 fucking times. Let's not bring up the snake emojis, because apparently that'll trigger so many neoliberals that they'll just press the red button and kill us all because of the snake emojis. But yes, the smears, that all shit happened, but we have to appreciate that the Bernie blackout, like this is empirically verifiable, okay? Just so many little dumb bullshit things, like Bernie surges to first place in New Hampshire, but the headline reads, you know, some bullshit like, Buttigieg climbs to third place, Warren holds second. It's like, okay, well, who's in first? A lot of people only read headlines. A lot of people make their worldviews and decisions off of headlines. So the Bernie blackout, and then of course the bias, the double standards, the bullshit ass questions. I mean, like, you know, the blatant hypocrisy, like, you know, the most recent example is the Cuba thing. Like, Barack Obama was like, hey, you know, authoritarianism bad, but got to appreciate, you know, Cuba's literacy program, pretty good stuff, appreciate it. And nobody batted an eye. But Bernie Sanders is like, authoritarianism bad, but just want to say, you know, the literacy program in Cuba, pretty good stuff. I like it. And everybody loses their fucking minds. It's literally, they said like the exact same fucking thing. And people are ragging on him for being pro-Castro and saying that we should shoot Republicans and put them in camps. And so there's the double fucking standards, there's the bias, there's the bullshit ass questions. I mean, like, you've all seen it. If you know what I'm talking about, you've already seen it. Forget all the bias and shit. But listen, I'm not here to tell you that this election was unfair, because if you have more than 6 brain cells, you already gathered that. What I'm here to tell you is don't fucking give up on the human race. And I know that sounds dramatic and a lot, but I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it with the young peeps. I'm seeing it with the leftists. I'm seeing it with a lot of fucking people, a lot of marginalized people, a lot of desperate people, a lot of people who have big hearts and just want to help. But they look at this and they're like, holy fuck, we're going to die. And I feel like this all the time. I've said it 100 million times. Sometimes I just laugh at it all. I'm like, we're going to die. But it's not, we are not, listen, the establishment is set up to make you, if you are anti-establishment, to make you, but also everyone, make everyone else feel like this too, but especially you, the anti-establishment dude or dudette or non-identifying whatever, the establishment, Bezos moon landing. Listen, where's my cup? Where's my drinky? Where's my sippy boy? Oh, there she is. Okay. The establishment, their goal, if you are anti-establishment, the first thing that they will do is try and make you give up. I'm going to circle back to that in a second. The second thing they'll do is they'll try and make you a joke and further ignore you. The third thing they'll do is vilify you. And the fourth thing they'll do after you're taken care of is act like they were on your side all along. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. But listen, so the first step is to just make you give up. And this can be accomplished in a number of ways. You can give up because they'll trick you into thinking that everything is actually okay. You know, I think a lot of people in their gut understand that something is wrong with this world, but then they get spun all these narratives as to, well, this is actually the problem, or actually there is no problem and we got it handled. Motherfucker. So their job is to make you feel hopeless. Their job is to make you feel powerless, to feel isolated, to feel, you're right. This has been sponsored by Big Tobacco. This video has been sponsored by Skillshare. They're to make you feel hopeless. They're to make you feel like you are alone. Their job is to make us, the people with a capital P, feel like we're all in this alone. The people like you and me who get it, we're few and far between. The people who, the grand majority of this world is full of shitty people, stupid people. And that we might as well just give up and enjoy our life. No, there are more Bernie supporters than you have been led to believe. There are way more people who want change in a good way. A lot of people want change. A lot of it's not good change, but there's a lot of people who want change in a good way. There's a lot of, and yeah, it's like, talk about the Bernie blackout. It's like, some people are ignorant, but listen, there's a lot of people who politics is just not their thing. Like, you know, I know people who are so book smart in something. Like, you got people who like know law, like, which is so complicated. And I could never do law. Like, I could not do law school, or I could never be a chemist, or I don't know. There's a billion jobs out there that I could never do, but someone else does, and they are extremely intelligent at that. But that's their thing. My thing is politics and some other things. You know, I like art. I do the art bullshit a lot, and a couple other things. We all have multiple hobbies and talents, you know. And a lot of these people, they rely on these pundits to basically tell them what their opinion should be. And if these pundits were in the most, like, bare bones way, fair and unbiased, they would like Bernie Sanders. And I mean, so like, already I'm here to tell you that a lot of people support Bernie Sanders, and additionally I'm here to tell you that a lot of people who don't like Bernie Sanders are a lot closer to conversion than you give them credit for. But you have to appreciate, they are bombarded with propaganda telling them Bernie bad, leftism bad, like up, down, left, right, center, like every single day from every single outlet. Like, not even just talking about news, I'm talking about everything. Their family, their friends, the news, their media and entertainment, you know? And you have to appreciate, like, to an untrained eye, like, a lot of these pundits and shit, they do seem like to know what they're talking about. You know, you got people, and not even like CNN pundits. Like, think about someone like Benjamin Shapiro. You know, if to an untrained eye, he seems like he's intellectual. He seems like he makes good arguments. He seems like he knows what the fuck he's talking about. It all falls away under a fucking millisecond of scrutiny. But if you're not trained, I mean, like, listen, like, I never, when I talk to normal people, I don't ever want them to feel like I'm talking down at them, because it's like, listen, like, I hope I know what I'm talking about. I've spent hundreds and hundreds of hours learning about this sort of shit and keeping up to date with all this kind of shit. This is more or less my unpaid job, is to learn this kind of shit. So it's like, people got other shit they gotta do. People, yeah, all these people, they're living paycheck to paycheck. They don't got time to dig and dig and dig and dig. And it's like, it takes a long time before it all finally clicks. Before it, you know, and there's levels to it. You think you get it the first time. No, please, you finish. No, please. Don't feel so hopeless. And you know what? It might not matter. We might all die in climate apocalypse and all the billionaires will just go to their bunkers in New Zealand and live it out. We might all die from increasingly worse pandemics or, because we are on a clock here. But I don't want you to think that if we fight and it just goes to shit in the end, that it was a fruitless fight to begin with. Because it's not. And I don't remember where I heard this quote, but someone once said that every country in the world is 3 days of no food away from revolution, and that's why people they're talking about an emergency UBI for this COVID shit, and it's like they're doing that because they recognize that with how this country is structured, with how our system works, that people will get pushed towards revolutionary thought unless they throw a band-aid on it real motherfucking fast, which they are. I love you. Drink lots of water. Get lots of sleep. And, try and forgive these stupid fucking people. A lot of them are closer to epiphany than you realize. And you have to appreciate they've been literally brainwashed their entire life. Just imagine, being stuck in a bubble so perfect, so intricate, so airtight your whole life. You're not going to break the first time someone tries to crack it, It's going to take a lot of time. For a lot of these people, it might take therapy and re-education. That's kind of a buzzword that kind of scares people, But I see more re-education of the entire human species over a long course of time, a gradual re-education. I think people tend to, get stuck and not budge. So fuck off. I don't know. Y'all have a great night.